Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we try to give you that shortcut to being well informed. We dig into the sources and pull out the key stuff. And today we're jumping into some really interesting insights from a parenting podcast called Raising Emotionally Intelligent Children: A Whisperer's Guide.
Yeah, our goal here is to find those really actionable takeaways about building emotional intelligence, EQ, in kids. And it's not just about, controlling emotions. It's really about helping them understand what they're feeling and then find healthy ways to express it. The source makes a strong case that EQ, well, it can be even more vital than IQ for success in life. Think about relationships, school, solving problems. It touches everything. And the really good news, it's absolutely something we can teach.
So stick around if you're looking for some practical, maybe even surprising tips that could genuinely change how you connect with kids. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first off, emotional intelligence in kids.
Yeah.
What are we really talking about? Because it's easy to think it means like kids should never cry or never get mad. Right. And that's a common misconception. The source is clear. It's not about suppressing feelings. It's about understanding them, knowing what you're feeling, and then having ways to express that constructively. Healthy ways.
And kids don't just pop out knowing how to do this.
Yeah, no, definitely not. That's a key point. They learn emotional regulation skills directly from us. From the words we use, how we react when they get emotional, and how we help them actually put a name to what's going on inside. It's learned, built over time.
Which, okay, that flows perfectly into the first big tip the source highlights.
Yeah.
It sounds almost too simple. Just name the emotion.
It does sound basic, but its impact is huge. Yeah.
Like the examples they give,
Mm-hmm.
instead of hearing, I hate this, and saying, stop being so dramatic, try saying something like, wow, it sounds like you're really frustrated right now. Or maybe a favorite toy breaks.
Yeah, the instinct is, it's okay, don't worry.
Right. But instead, try acknowledging, oh, you feel really sad because that was your favorite toy. That makes sense.
Exactly. And when you do that, when you name it, it does a few things. First, the child feels seen, understood. It also gives them the actual language for their internal world. It builds that emotional vocabulary. And honestly, sometimes just having the word helps them express it without having a total meltdown. They can say, I'm frustrated, instead of just screaming.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Feeling seen. So once you've named it and they feel kind of heard, what's the next instinct we often have that we should maybe rethink? The source points to that urge to jump in and fix everything immediately. Tip number 2, validate, don't fix.
Ah, yes. The fixer instinct. It's strong, isn't it? Kids upset, we want to make it better, right now.
Totally. It's okay, don't cry. Or hey, we can just get a new one.
But what kids often need first, more than a solution, is just to feel that their feeling is okay, that it's been heard. The podcast actually shared this great point sometimes, just saying, yeah, that really sucks, or that sounds incredibly hard, can calm a child down faster than anything else.
Just acknowledging the feeling itself.
Exactly. It's about giving them permission to feel. Not every bad feeling needs an instant fix. Sometimes it just needs space to be acknowledged. And that's hard for us as parents sometimes, to just sit with their discomfort and be present instead of rushing to solve. But the source says the payoff is huge.
Right. Okay, so if we're helping kids understand their emotions, it kind of follows that we need to be aware of our own, doesn't it? Which brings us to the next point. Model your own emotions. Showing them how it's done.
Absolute crucial. It's one thing to tell them, it's another to show them. So this means sometimes verbalizing what you're feeling, like, wow, I'm feeling really stressed right now, so I think I need to take a 5-minute break.
Or maybe later, reflecting on something.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe saying, I was pretty angry earlier when that happened, but I took some deep breaths and I feel calmer now. Doing that, it teaches them healthy ways to cope, shows that feelings are normal and, importantly, temporary. And it builds trust. It creates this family atmosphere where it's okay to talk about feelings, all feelings.
That makes sense, creating that safe space. So if we're modeling it, how do we make talking about emotions a regular thing? Not just when there's a crisis. This leads to the idea of creating regular emotional check-ins, building it into the routine.
Yeah, and these don't have to be complicated. They can be really simple, structured moments, like the source suggests, maybe simple questions at bedtime. What was the best part of your day? Followed by, was there anything tough today? Anything that made you feel sad or mad?
I've heard of the rose, thorn, and bud thing too. Is that similar?
Exactly the same idea. Rose is something good, thorn is something difficult, and bud is something you're looking forward to. It's just a framework. The real point is opening up that regular channel for sharing. And what's interesting is these check-ins can help you spot patterns early. Like, maybe your child mentions feeling left out at lunch a few days in a row. You catch it sooner.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're modeling.
Yeah.
But what about when those really big, messy feelings inevitably show up? Because they will.
Right. And EQ isn't about preventing those big feelings. It's about knowing what to do with them when they hit.
Which brings us to teach calm down strategies,
Yeah.
giving them actual tools.
Exactly. Practical tools. The source lists a bunch. Things like simple breathing exercises, like dragon breaths or balloon breaths. Having a designated quiet corner they can go to, maybe journaling or drawing how they feel, even something physical like squeezing a stress ball.
What about that calm box idea?
Yeah, the calm box is great. It's just a physical box with things that help that specific child regulate. Could be Play-Doh, a glitter jar they can shake and watch settle, maybe noise-canceling headphones if they get overwhelmed by sound. The key is building a personalized toolkit they can turn to when things feel like too much.
Okay, a toolkit. I like that. Now, moving on a bit,
Hmm?
the source talks about empathy. How do we teach that? It seems abstract.
Well, one really powerful way mentioned is using stories. Tip 6, use storytelling to teach empathy.
Through books and things.
Yeah, books, even just making up stories. Narratives are amazing for helping kids step into someone else's shoes. So after reading a story, you can ask questions like, how do you think that character felt when the others wouldn't let them play? Or, why do you think they acted that way?
Prompting them to think about the other person's feelings.
Precisely. It builds that awareness, that compassion, understanding that other people have inner worlds just like theirs.
Okay, makes sense. And the last tip, number 7. This one feels really important too. Praise emotional efforts,
Yes.
not just outcomes.
Yes, this is so key. We're often quick to praise achievements, like getting a good grade or scoring a goal. We need to do the same for emotional skills.
So focus on the effort they're making with your feelings.
Exactly. Reinforce the process. So if your child normally yells when frustrated, but this time they took a deep breath instead.
You notice that specifically.
Right. You say, wow, I saw you were really upset, but you took a deep breath to stay calm. That was really strong of you. Or maybe they notice a sibling is sad and try to comfort them. You could say, that was so kind. You noticed your brother was feeling down and you wanted to help him feel better.
So you're labeling the positive emotional action and valuing it.
Precisely. It sends the message that developing this emotional side, this intelligence, is a strength. It's something you value and notice.
Okay, so we've gone through 7 pretty powerful tips here. When you pull it all together, what's the big picture, the deeper meaning? Because the source emphasizes it's not about being a perfect parent, right? Which is, frankly, a relief.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody's perfect. It's really about consistency and intention. It's about showing up, being present, really listening. And fundamentally, it's about teaching kids how to, as the source puts it, sit with their feelings instead of running from them, giving them the words, the tools, and that feeling of safety to navigate their inner world.
A toolkit and a safe base.
Exactly. And the belief is that these efforts, they really do pay off in the long run. You're equipping them for life, healthier relationships, more resilience, you name it.
Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive into raising emotionally intelligent children. I really hope this chat has given you some comfort, maybe some fresh ideas, and a clearer sense of how to nurture EQ.
And maybe just one final thought to leave you with, something to chew on. Think about these strategies we've discussed, naming feelings, validating, modeling, checking in. How might applying some of these, maybe even just one or two, not just with kids, but in your own life, deepen your own self-awareness? And how might that, in turn, impact your relationships with the other adults around you? Just something to consider.